everyone, I'm here for the astrology headlines for the month of September 2020. This is a video with sort of the general headlines and things of what's going on for the month. If you want a more detailed overview week by week of all the things that are going on, you can sign up for my free newsletter on my website. I will put a link to go, and I just give you I send you a newsletter that says here's all the things happening astrologically for the week so you can plan your week. But this gives you an overview of kind of the big headlines for the month of September. September, I'm not going to lie, it is going to be energetically a difficult month. Some astrologers have compared it to the month of March. So think back to March and some of the issues you were dealing with. But overall, September and October are considered to be the most difficult for this year. So buckle up. It starts off the good, and I don't want to certainly freak anyone out. I think that, it's going to affect some people more than others according to, their birth chart. But I think that it's important to know that these are going to be difficult months. So self-care is going to be extremely important. And using these energies in a positive manner, I think is extremely important. So I've got my little calendar here with all of my I keep calendar with all of my astrology things written in here. And we're going to go through the headlines. We're going to talk about, every month we've got a full moon and a new moon. We're going to talk about the planets changing signs and some of the other things that are going to cause some of the stresses that are going on this month. So the first thing we have on Wednesday, September 1st, is we have a Pisces full moon. So I have here, this is the full moon in Pisces from the Moonology Oracle. It says balance spirituality and practicality, which is, I think that's perfect description, because full moons are when the sun and the moon are opposite each other. The sun's in Virgo, which is all about practical, day-to-day, getting organized. It's about work. It's very much like head down, straight ahead, get organized for the school year, all that kind of stuff, right? But the Pisces full moon says, hey, don't forget about spirituality. Don't forget about your psychic side. Don't forget about your big dreams. So we have a Pisces full moon every year. So that's not new. And this year we've got, it's got a trine. The sun has a trine with Uranus, and we also have Venus opposing Saturn. So the sun in Virgo trining Uranus in Taurus is really great because it means that this particular full moon, we may feel more inspired than usual. We may do things a little bit differently. We may have some insights and inspirations about things. So it's got a lot of positive energy, this particular full moon. We do have Venus in the sign of Cancer, opposing one of the Capricorn planets, which is Saturn in Capricorn. So Saturn in Capricorn is about authority, rulership, tradition, and order. And it's also about restrictions, boundaries, and walls. And that's going to be opposite. Venus in Cancer is very much like, home, maternal type energy. It's about beautifying the home. So I'm expecting in the news to see some issues around women, mothers, and issues they have with some of the structures going on. So I wouldn't be surprised to see stuff in the news about the schools that are opening, concerns about that. We also saw mothers protesting in places like Portland. And so I'm expecting to see some kind of issues like that around that time. But it's a very feminine, empowering type of full moon. So I think there is, even with that going on, there's this sense of optimism, this sense of possibility that's going on for the full moon. The next thing that we have Mercury moving into the sign of Libra for 3 weeks. So he's going from Virgo to Libra. This is the Mercury in Libra card from the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. This says influence. It's kind of interesting. We've got a snake. It's very like Adam and Eve, Garden of Eden. I don't know if I necessarily use these images for Mercury in Libra. Mercury in Libra is usually quite a pleasant type of placement. Mercury in Libra wants to talk to others, wants to be diplomatic. He wants to work with others. He usually likes to partner with people. So it's usually quite good for discussing difficult things in a diplomatic way. What's going to happen though as we go on into the month is Mercury's in Libra. He's going to be opposite Aries in Mars and square to the Capricorn planets. So we may see arguments come up. We may see legal battles, legal challenges about things. In our own lives, it's asking us to work together and to try to see things from the other point of view instead of pushing our agenda. Look at where your Aries, Libra and Capricorn houses are in your chart to see where some of these energies might show up for you. But I do see that there is some energies around like arguing and details and that kind of thing. And also it's like the individual, Mars and Aries, against like the collective, sort of like we working together diplomatically. And then we have the powers that be in Capricorn. So there's a lot of different energies. There's also two different points of view going on. And we certainly know that there is a lot of division going on in the world right now. So it's going to be a very interesting kind of month with all these things coming up. We also have Venus moving into the sign of Leo on the 6th of September. This again is a pretty good aspect. Venus in Leo, she's pretty happy there. When she was in Capricorn, she's all about the home and making it beautiful and mothering and baking and cooking things. When she's in Leo, she's like, no, I want to get my glam on. I want to be able to shine. I want to put on some bling. I want to perform. So if it's a great time if you are like a creative person to do some creative things. I'm just looking for the card here. Here it says affair. But it is very much a romantic energy. We want to be romanced. We want to show our glamorous side. So don't be afraid to take some selfies. Don't be afraid to plan some romantic nights in. And also if you're somebody who performs, I know there's not, we can't really go out and have shows right now or attend shows. We can still do some things online. So don't be afraid to show during this month toot your own horn about your creativity this month. That's for sure. The next big headline is on September 9th. We have Mars going retrograde. Now, Mars is a planet of action and energy, and when he goes into retrograde, people can get quite frustrated because they want to move forward. They want to push things forward. They want to push their will, but it's being held back. It's being frustrated. And so this is going to create tension. I think there's a lot of frustrations. Some of those frustrations may boil over. So it's saying like, obviously don't let things, in your own personal life, wherever your Mars is, don't let it get to like arguments or God forbid violence or anything like that. But it is saying like, change your expectations. You're not going to be able to get as much done as you think you will. Things are not going to go according to plan. And that's okay. Slow down. That's the first thing with Mars retrograde. Slow down. And then also set the bar lower. Don't try to think you can accomplish a whole bunch of things when you can't. Be kinder to yourself and get out some of that frustrated energy with things like exercise. Mars is always, a good planet, for help with exercise. And so he's saying, slow down. Get some of that frustrated energy out in good, healthy ways. Don't take it out on the people around you. But please know that the Mars retrograde is what a lot of astrologers are talking about as far as things being difficult. He's squaring these planets in Capricorn. And one of those aspects that he's going to visit again is Mars is going to square Saturn. And that's a very foot on the gas, foot on the brake kind of energy. So it's like some things are moving forward, some are stopping. We're not sure what to do. I kind of think that this month there might be a lot of frustrations around kids going back to school and rules around that, rules around lockdowns. Some people wanting more, some people wanting less of that. And so I think there's like a lot of conflict in those energies that's going on right now. After that, the next thing is the new moon in Virgo. So we have a new moon in Virgo on the 17th of September. So I'm just going to find my new moons in my moonology cards. So the new moon in Virgo is a good time to set some intentions with how you want to organize things. So it says it's a time to give rather than take on this card. And certainly Virgo is about service. So it's asking us like, how can we be of service? And so instead of, the Mars and Aries, me energy, it's asking us, what about we? What about all of us? Well, how can we be of service to others? I think that'll also help us with some of those frustrations is by looking at what we can do in the world to be of service. It's a good time too to set some health intentions. If you have goals for your health, this is a good time to set intentions in that area. Also, if you are looking at, just doing some changes to your fall routine, It's a good time to set some intentions with that as well. It's a good time to get some stationery too. You know, people forget, like Virgo is an earth sign, but it's ruled by Mercury. And I think that's why so many of us like to go and get a bunch of stationery around this time of year, you know, some new office supplies and things. So a good time for that as well. And that's like a pretty good one. We do have a Mercury squaring Jupiter at this time. So there may be tensions between how we communicate with the world, and then also we may be feeling like the world is pushing us to do something maybe we don't want to. It's telling us not to overpromise, telling us not to extend ourselves more than we can. And then the sun that day has a square to Saturn as well. So we have like, you know, Mercury and the sun in Virgo, or not in Virgo, pardon me, in Libra. And then we have, you know, we have these Capricorn planets, and they don't necessarily get along with each other. And so our individual will is frustrated by what's going on collectively at this time. So I think it's a good new moon to kind of just sit there and think like, what can I do realistically to be of service to the world? And what can I do to take care of me? So, you know, it's really doing a little bit of reflecting on that particular new moon. We do have here the sun moving into Libra, on the 22nd, as usual, and that is autumn equinox here in the north, and it's spring equinox in the south. So it's a time of balance, of equal light and equal darkness. So we have that as usual. We also have that square, the Mars making a square with Saturn at the end of the month on the 29th. And I think this is particularly where things may come to kind of a bit of a boiling point around that week. We have Saturn moving forward as well on that day. So Saturn, he was in retrograde, and now he's moving forward. So I really see a return to a lot of restrictions at that particular time. I think though people will be frustrated by this, as the aspects say, but Saturn's about rules and restriction. He's also about authority as well. And so I see towards the end of the month that really coming into play. The asteroids as well do make some movement this month. We have Athena goes direct on the 6th. She was in retrograde. So expect that you'll be able to plan things a little better, be able to strategize things a little better. You might feel like your head's a little clearer as we get forward into the month. We also have Juno changing signs into Scorpio. Juno is in charge of partnerships. She's in charge of, you know, kind of our main, you know, if you're married, you know, your partner, or if you're not married, just like your main partner, whoever that is. It's about like our relationships with others and sharing power. And she was very content in Libra to share power with others, but now she's moving into Scorpio and she's not putting up with anything. She's like, no, this is what I need. So I think that's where we have to really set some either clear boundaries in a relationship, or we might have to be more assertive to ask for what we want. But it's also like very like mystical and sexy energy too. So it puts a little spice back into your love life. We also have Ceres moving into Aquarius. She's still in retrograde. She moves back into Aquarius on the 28th of September. So right now she's in Pisces, and she's very much about nurturing the spirit, nurturing our spiritual side. When she moves back into Aquarius, she's going to say, like, how do we put that nurturing energy into the world? What are we doing to be of service to the world? So again, that theme comes up. So that's the energy that's going on for September. I hope that whatever your birth chart, that you do have a wonderful September, and that these things don't affect you as much as, you know, as much as we think that, you know, astrologers think that they might. I hope to, this is the kind of month where I hope to be wrong, you know, I hope to be wrong. I really do. But I think it's going to be a challenging month, but I think the thing we have to remember is, how are we caring for ourselves? And then how are we being of service and caring for others? And also looking at the other person's point of view and saying, what can I realistically do to change things, as opposed to trying to force things or force my way upon others. And so it's going to be an interesting month energetically. If you're looking for an astrology reading, I do have them on my Etsy shop. I also have a free weekly newsletter where you can get more of the weekly day-to-day stuff, as I mentioned at the top of this video. Thank you to all of my patrons. I love all of you. You guys are amazing. And a special shout out to Nathan, Marie, and Jennifer as well. And as always, peace and love and rock on.